Welcome back to another episode of Diecast Resurrection. How many of you guys remember Slam Shifters?
Slam Shifters, tough, hot, die-cast collectible cars you don't push around.
I was just a fetus when these things came out. Actually, these things came out the year I was born, 1982. This car showed up in a box of project cars I purchased a few months ago, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, because it's got this kind of a little bit of a port in the back here where I thought something would plugged into something. So I asked you guys on Instagram, what this was about, and a bunch of people came back and said, hey, that's a slam shifter. And I'm like, hell yeah, what's a slam shifter? So I looked it up, and yeah, it's pretty cool. 82, 83, 84, you get slam shifters, and they would kind of plug into a launcher that had like a Hungry Hippo kind of thing, and you pop them, and they would fire off, and they'd either race on a track, or you could race them right on the floor. There was even a Dukes of Hazzard racetrack. So this is my first slam shifter, the first time I've seen one, and it's pretty cool. We're going to do a little bit of a restoration on this one. This car here is a Firebird. We're going to make it look a little bit more like a Trans Am. I'm going to change the style of the bird. I got a couple other decals for this thing. We'll clean up the rims. I got a little split in the tire I'm going to have to glue. But yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a restoration on this thing, get her looking pretty. And then hopefully one of these days I can find one of those little slam shifter launchers and we can give this thing a shot. Because slam shifters, you don't push them, you slam them.
You don't push them, you slam them.
Am I right? One of these days, this will go right through my hand. What a convenient way to remove these axles. Check it out. Check out this casting. Pretty meaty front end. Hell yeah. Got some, looks like it's got some side pipes. You couldn't even tell that were there. This thing's pretty sweet. Pretty clean casting. It's almost like that Pro Stalker we did, that AMX. It's got the same kind of skirt. I think we'll lay down a little bit of silver sealer on this thing. I'm going to paint her black and clear coat, and then we'll come back. These are my bird decals for the hood. But before we do that, we got to lay down some gold. So I have some stencils here. If I remember correctly, the vinyl that I'm using here is the kind that really likes to leave glue behind. So hopefully that's not an issue in today's video. So I'm going to use this stuff, 4105 gold plating. And you can use this straight out of the bottle right into the airbrush, and it's pretty legit stuff. So let's go spray this bird and hopefully it comes out nice and clean. And hopefully this vinyl comes off nicely. I don't know, I've been having problems with that stuff lately, but I gotta use up some of these old products before I go spending more money. So let's go to the spray booth and we'll give this a shot. That stuff definitely goes on nicely. Really easy to spray. And here's the sketchy part. Sweet. That actually worked out real good. I was a little bit concerned, but yeah, that vinyl released no problem. I got a couple little pieces in between the tail here. It looks like I got to pry out with my little tool. So I'm going to try to do our Trans Am lettering in gold as well. So I've been kind of struggling a little bit trying to do the Bandit style pinstriping, because it's just so darn small. I thought maybe I would use this nail tape, but it's a little bit too bright, a little bit too gold, and maybe a little bit too big. So I had to think outside the box. This is what I came up with. I painted some of my older vinyl strips, so I wonder if wonder if this is gonna work. As you can imagine, they're kind of sticking together, but let's see if we can make these work. Might be onto something here. Painting vinyl strips could be a thing, but I bet you if I looked hard enough, I could probably find some gold, like metallic vinyl. I don't know how this is gonna go, but we're gonna try some things out here. See if I can make this work. And I'll try to do all this Bandit striping the best I can. That. Just to give you an update, I got most of the Bandit style pinstriping done. It's looking pretty good. It's crazy that this is working. It's working really well, actually. You can see I'm down here on the lower front spoiler. I've just started to kind of make this curve. Hopefully we can get this thing clear coated soon. I want to see that decal on there with all the trim. Oh, it's going to look so good all together. Hell yeah. Can use a little bit of micro set as always. I'll probably just put a ton on, hopefully. Put on lots. Hopefully I can move the decal around a little bit. Alright, our little Trans Am is looking great. So I think I'm ready to go clear coat this thing. I'm kind of scared to touch it, actually, with all that extra vinyl we got on there. So I'm going to get that handled, and then we'll be able to start working on that glass, get our windshield fixed up. Oh yeah, this is going to be amazing. I hope. I hope. Got a little bit of 2000 grit here. We're just going to go through and get this windshield as nice as possible. At first I thought this was just black plastic, but it's actually tinted, so that's good. The body looks really good. It's super glossy. Took me a little bit of time to get all those little pinstripes on there, but hopefully it's worth it. I think it looks pretty sweet. There's been so many times on my paint jobs when I wanted to do like a pinstripe between, you know, multiple colors, and it's just too difficult to paint such a fine line with tape. Give you the preview of our paint job here. And she turned out pretty sweet looking. Almost looks like a piece of jewelry, like it's got a bunch of inlaid gold wire is kind of what it looks like, doesn't it? I had a little bit of an oopsie though. You might be able to see a couple little sparkles throughout the paint. Since immediately before I clear coated this, I sprayed the gold bird, there was a little bit of gold remaining in the airbrush that didn't get cleaned out 100%. So throughout the paint job, there's some gold sparkles happening, which was completely accidental, but they're sealed in there now, so couldn't really tell the extent of the gold sparkles until it got clear coated, and it became very obvious. But I don't know, she's still looking pretty darn good, I think. Look at the front. Click, 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 click. I've been carefully going through, touching up these wheels. You can see this one's got a lot of curb rash. I'm going to go put this in the paint oven, cure these wheels, and then I think we're good to go on the assembly because the glass will be dry at that point, so stay tuned. Well, here's our Trans Am. It's a little bit hard to film, you know, this car, it's so dark, it just kind of absorbs all the light. So I'm going to have to do this a little bit differently than we normally do. If I record it on top of the mirror, it completely disappears pretty much. So right now, this is the best possible angle that I could come up with right now. She turned out pretty good. I love projects where I learned something new, and I definitely learned something new figuring out that I was able to paint my vinyl strips. That's going to be so useful in the future. Let me grab a hold of this thing. Help it out. She's a beautiful glossy beast. I don't know what else to tell you guys. She turned out pretty sweet. I like the bird. Looks like it's done in real gold. That was a pretty cool project. Anyways, folks, that is it for me today. I'll be back soon with something new. Make sure you leave a like to support the channel. Say hello in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.
Slam Shifters and Slam Shifters with launchers, each sold separately.